you can hold off against him, and it's a flex pick that leaves Qlash wondering where it's going to go now.
And Qlash could look for, again, this brawl-style composition. There's going to be a Churnwalker. Let's see what they rounded out with. The Kestrel is available. They could go for something like a Rona, perhaps, and get that full-on melee. You know, I'm just imagining a full team chained up with a Rhyme and a Rona doing damage is pretty devastating of a thought. So it could be something that is, you know, considered for Qlash.
Saw is also a very likely, I mean, Saw would be amazing here. I don't know if it's a likely possibility just because it's Merciless, but it would have been amazing. Vox is the more predictable thing you would expect just because it is Merciless, one of his top picks. By far, you've mentioned it so many different times, Tasty Bacon. He really prefers this hero, and it works well with Rhyme and Churnwalker as well because the AoE damage coming out from his resonance bounces, even though he's going to be weapon power, is amplified with the Churnwalker shared damage, so it all works together very well.
Yeah, the only other pick that Merciless really heavily favors is the Kestrel, but when there's a pedal on the other side, the Kestrel's able to, or the Munions are able to block those Glimmer shots very heavily, so it becomes a little bit more difficult to get your damage down if you're running that Kestrel. So the Vox just makes sense because it's Qlash and because it is Merciless, but they still, like you said, have a lot of damage, and the damage share can be very strong. Mousesports, they're going to grab a Samuel as their final pick, so going to be trying to keep their opponents at range, and this is a really smart strategy against a Churnwalker because the chains, they only have so long that they can reach, and if you keep your opponents at range, at the long attack range of the pedal, at the long range that the Samuel and the Lyras have, then you can break those chains very easily when they get applied on you, as long as you aren't caught out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be quite difficult when you're running a composition that's based around a Rhyme to start things off. It's going to be difficult to try and get on into that range composition and actually be able to land your damage yourself.
Yeah, the way to start doing that is going to be to invade in the jungle and get leads. If you have a significant lead in the early game and mid game, then executing your win condition all of a sudden becomes a lot easier. Your win condition being closing the gap onto a hero and focusing them down very quickly. So it's a lot on Agony to try and perform on this Rhyme. And honestly, as of late, he's been performing really well on it. So Samuel also needs to understand how to play defensive very well against it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot on how these two teams execute their composition. So we need to see early aggression coming out from the Rhyme, early aggression coming out from Qlash in general, and we'll see whether Mousesports are going to be able to weather the storm on this one. We are about to go on into our second semi-final here. Qlash are fighting for their lives. They are looking to get themselves out of the challenge battle zone. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know whether you are supporting Qlash's hopes here or if you think Mousesports are going to take this series. It's time to pass it over to our casters. It's Jaws and Sean Ostino for semi-final number 2.
Thanks, guys, once again. And what a way to put it, Munch. They're fighting for their lives. Qlash do not want to be in that challenge battle zone. They need to be able to win this series here, Sean, to make sure they can at least have a little bit more chance to get out. They need an extra point after this series if they do manage to win in order to propel themselves out, because that is the danger zone. Because you see the VGL teams and even the VIS teams over in NA, how strong they are looking so far, and Qlash now need to climb over the hurdle that is Mousesports, but boy, is it going to be a tall order.
Oh yes, Jaws. Teams over there in the VGL like Norm Picarni, Team Queso, very, very strong teams that absolutely want their chance at getting into the VG8. And if Team Qlash doesn't want to deal with that, they're going to have to stay away from the challenge zone. They're going to have to win these 2 games, at least 2 games here in this series, to be able to make it to the finals and just increase that lead, increase the points that they're going to have to put Dynasty in the challenge zone. Now, I wanted to talk about Churnwalker here. Really good pickup. We just saw this picked up by them yesterday, and with the composition they had yesterday, it was actually Rhyme, Churnwalker, and Kestrel. The Kestrel's been the Kestrel is not with them today, but we have the Vox, who has AoE damage potential with his resonance bounces. Now, if they're able to get a lot of AoE damage down, that's going to really increase the effectiveness of Churnwalker to be able to confer damage and to increase his healing as well.
Scary times as well when you've got a Churnwalker on your face, coupled with Agony's Rhyme. He was the player to watch in this map, needless we forget. with Agony on the run coming up against I'm the Doom, you can imagine it's going to be a bit more of a slugfest in the early game. Not too much pressure is going to be applied. However, I'm the Doom looking to take this Elder Treant away, and in fact a Drifting Dark should actually secure that one. It does indeed. It will go straight over to I'm the Doom for the second time in a row. So Mouse off to a small lead, small start anyway into this game. And one thing I want to mention here as well, the fact that Qlash are in this situation, that puts them under a lot of pressure. Is that actually going to get them in this game? Because you're coming up against people like Justman, who we know for his Arden play, and coming in on this Lyra, he's going to want to make plays happen. But with the composition they've drafted, range is going to be their game. Mousesports are good at drafting around their, good at playing around their win composition, and with a superstar laner like Leon, it's going to make it a bit easier.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with Leon too, see, the mispositioning is what's happening here.
Yeah, I'm the Doom and Justman getting dragged back in by Deso. Look at that healing coming off him as well. Normally you'd be like, okay, so he's going to get chunked down to about quarter HP. Nope, not at all. 2 chains means Mercillius gets extra damage on the whole of Mouse, and it ends up just Mouse losing that trade rather heavily.
Yeah, pretty smart move by Disown, just to be able to misposition just like that on Justman over and over again. The more you pull people back out of position, you take them away from what they want to do in the game. Whether they want to go get that ambient gold in the jungle from their carries, whether they want to egress from a fight because they don't want to fight it anymore because their health bars are low. Leon and I'm the Doom here, they have similar win conditions. They need to be able to scale to late game, even though I'm the Doom, as the Samuel, does have a strong early to mid game. I feel like they both need to be able to kite. If they're kiting effectively away from Churnwalker and his chains, then they're going to put a lot of damage down without conferring it to themselves.
Oh, that 3-man Torment again just shows you how much damage Disowned is doing. Even the tick damage of the chains was chunking out Mouse quite a bit, and in fact Justman's going to heal up only Leon for the time being. That burst healing enables him to get sustained in the lane, and Agony coming up for the rotation, although no tier 2 boots or anything, so can't make anything work just for the time being. And now Mouse paying Agony a little visit in his own jungle. The range advantage that I'm the Doom has over him is going to come into effect, you can imagine, as soon as I'm the Doom maybe wants to prioritize towards something like a Frostburn to keep him more at range.
There's a really interesting situation here with the points, because we have Mouse here, who's kind of like in the middle of the jaws, and they really can't do anything about their point standings now in this weekend, since this is the last weekend of the VG8 in this season. But we have Qlash, who are very hungry. They want to get out. They're desperate right now. They're pulling themselves up out of the pit that is the challenge zone, and they need to get out of there. So I feel like there's a lot of motivation for them, but there's also a lot of pressure at the same time. Already here in the first 5 minutes of the game, we see them falling a little bit behind by a few hundred gold. They need to be able to clean things up a little bit more and just scale to late game, protect Mercillius here, and I think they can really pull themselves out a win.
Mercillius has been one of the carries that's picked up the Vox more often than not, and he's been commented on, and to even have quite a small hero pool, small selection of heroes that he can choose from, Kestrel and Vox being the main 2, it seems. Leon can seemingly play literally anything, including Grace, weapon power in the jungle, so I mean there is that. Gotta keep that in mind. Mouse are known to pull out these odd strategies, but it does work for them. Disowned's going to find a 2-man Torment here. That's going to be pretty big. The Winter Spy is really chugging them up, and Disowned actually with 3 people on the hook. Look at that damage coming through from Mercillius. Actually forces out I'm the Doom's Oblivion there just to make sure they can't go any harder on them.
Yeah, if Disowned is in there, he's really going to have to get himself really tanky. He's already working towards a fountain, it looks like, and he's got himself light armor and shielding as well. Pretty smart move. As opposed to yesterday, I think we saw him pick up a lot of just base health, and that helped him to survive as well, but didn't necessarily block out a lot of the CP and weapon tower damage reduction, and looks like their Agony's going in a little.
Yeah, did Valkyrie actually at the end there. Did use the boost and everything, but Justman with the Bright Bulwark was able to snare everybody up, and that just forces Agony back. Big cooldown, mind you, as well. 70 seconds now on that Valkyrie, so they won't be able to use that for the next engagement. Does leave Mouse in a good spot, although Leon's not in a good one right now. The Doom's going to rotate down from the jungle. Chunk Disowned and Mercillius, however.
Yeah, Disown getting chunked down a little bit. He needs to hit that level 6 power spike. Once he gets to that, he's going to be able to do so much He's going to be able to use that trespass, stun up the members of Mouse. And once he gets that down, that's going to be some pretty good crowd control. We don't see a lot of crowd control coming out of a Mouse. We have a few things in their kit. We do have the Oblivion, I'm the Doom has. We have, and he actually has it available to him as well.
Another Torment onto Leon, but that's big damage coming through from I'm the Doom. Agony is going to have to be very careful. Disown has got 3 of them on the chain. Trespass not yet available. In fact, it's a couple of seconds off. Now the hook does land. Fountain actually popped for Mouse. And again, the Oblivion is forced out by I'm the Doom just to make sure Qlash cannot push on them any further.
Yeah, Justman also has, obviously, a lot of healing that he has in his kit. The sustain is able to keep Mouse alive so well, and that's why they're able to push up on this turret effectively.
Oh, Trespass actually does land onto Leon, but a trampoline away will help him to safety. Massilis is going to use that weight for it, but his turret is already dead. Massilis is actually using the boots now to try and find the kill onto Leon. Mortal Wound's going to stop a lot of that healing. A Torment came back, and that'll be Massilis actually following that up with just a Resonance bounce for the kill. So first blood to Qlash, but Mouse, they find the turret.
Every little bit of health matters when you're stealing it away on this Turnwalker. So Leon was going so low, but he had the chains on him still. Got mispositioned a little bit. Resonance bounce was in range, and they were able to find him with that. Really smart move. Despite we see that Qlash has 1 turret down, and they definitely don't have the gold advantage, it's still within a manageable range. And them getting that kill, getting that first blood, really puts them in a better, at least a better state of mind situation that Qlash is in. They still see a lot of hope here. We have a lot of tier 3 items that are being picked up. We obviously see 2 tier 3 items on Leon. He's already got that Sora Blade and Tornado Trigger, so they're going to have to really watch out for him.
Yeah, Mercedes has got 2 on board as well, and that Poison Shiv and the Sora Blade also, so he's doing a fair bit of damage, but taking a lot of damage as well. In fact, Leon with that trampoline was able to close the distance, and he finds himself a kill. Valkyrie lands on Disowned. He's going to find 1 chain, can't find the second. Justman gets dragged towards him using that Torment, but Mouse, they end up evening the score lead for the time being, 1 apiece. Now the sustain really comes into effect from Justman, healing up I'm the Doom, healing up Leon for these continual long-range sieges, which is what Mouse's composition works perfectly for. Disowned sending out that Trespass. It will be blocked by the Crucible, and he's taking a lot of damage. There comes the Oblivion, doesn't sleep anybody. Trampoline over the wall and a wait for it will silence up Leon. He's in a lot of trouble now, but that Sigil is going to speed him up to safety, and Mouse go on for the perfect disengage.
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation you have here with Mouse's composition, because they want to kite, right? Like we were talking about in the beginning of the game. However, if they're very healthy, they could just keep coming in and aggressing on you and pushing these turrets, sieging up these turrets because of the sustain that they have coming out of Justman. And they have a lot of engage potential too. They have the Oblivion that they can use to put members of Qlash to sleep. They have the engage potential with the Arcane Passage followed up by a Bright Bulwark to just freeze people in place a little bit. Definitely freeze down Mercilli's in place and inhibit a lot of his movement abilities too.
Mouse's win condition is stick everybody at range, but Disowned, I mean, he can Torment, Trespass, and all the above, but he needs to be able to combo it with Agony CC as well. And a Valkyrie on top of that will lock down someone like Leon, will lock down I'm the Doom, and they should be able to finish them off from there as long as Massilis has that damage. Moving more towards weapon power, like you could imagine, has picked up that steal, and now Qlash are just going to have to clear these waves, because with that turret disadvantage, realistically, Mouse, they've got the vision advantage as well. The minions are able to push further and further up, meaning Qlash have to deal with them more readily, and it just allows Mouse to get more vision down and even put pressure on this gold miner.
Yeah, we have Disown doing a lot of work on this Turnwalker here, but if his team is not able to capitalize and follow up with the mispositioning, with the trespasses, we've seen the trespasses happen at least a couple of times, but because Mercilli's isn't necessarily in the best fighting shape, he's down to half health, or we don't see Agony following up as well and diving in there, poking as this rhyme, then we haven't seen that many kills exchanged on either side so far.
2 chains on, 1 on the gold miner, 1 on Just Man. Just Man is going to move forward though, just saying taking a lot of damage. Finds the 2 chains, finds the 3 chains. Oblivion's going to come out as well. Trespass is going to get blocked yet again. Big Boots comes out from Mercedes and Agony, pushing forward, and that'll be on the Doom, set extremely low. Leon just backing him up though, trampolines forward. Another chain lands, Mass and Verdict doesn't quite hit him, and that's going to be the gold miner going over to Qlash as well. Agony still in the fight. Disown's still finding the chains, and the regeneration from him is absolutely massive, but not when he's all alone. Agony is going to be able to chase Just Man, but that passageway is going to lead Leon a sticky situation if he finds himself in it. Gets rooted up, but the sigil heal is going to be there, and that'll be Just Man and Mouse just backing off for the time being. But Agony's not quite done with them yet. Spontaneous combustion, the heal isn't all too much, not when you're not CP, and they're still fighting at range. But it looks like Mouse are going to back off for now, or at least I'm the Doom thinks not the case. And now Agony's just going to get chased up, and Mercedes is going to be here. A nice route actually sends Samuel to the grave, and that'll be Doom trading his life, and that'll be Qlash picking up the gold miner as well. So net win overall for Qlash.
Oh, that was such a difficult choice for I'm the Doom there. He thought, oh yeah, I've got the 3v1 advantage here versus a Rhyme, but you're on the wrong side of the Rhyme. You're in Rhyme's jungle, and he just rooted him up and just inspired him down. It was just such an amazing thing. We always want to see Samuel kiting away from a fight, kiting away from people like Rhyme who are super tanky, but in that situation it just ended up being a mess. I'm the Doom got himself killed, put back in his base, but yeah, there's a lot of engage potential that we see coming out of Leon. Look at his weapon power items already. He's got a lot of damage. He can trampoline above the fights and just throw out a lot of heavy crit auto attacks, and he's already picked himself up a weapon infusion too. We see a lot of vision being picked up by Just Man, so he can throw out and make sure that they're not going to get ganked when they go into these bushes.
As always, why would you go for 3 damaging items when you can just have 4 and do even more damage and hope you just survive the fights? But I always tell myself, at least, even if I'm captain. Now, Qlash, they're going to have to defend this turret, and we spoke about the win con here for Mouse being their range advantage. Disowned actually finds himself on the wrong side of the team fight, but being very, very heavy sustained, he's going to be able to get out, and in fact, away for it from Mercedes is going to stop them. A Torment, and he's going to bring them all towards him, and he actually just sentences himself to death, and that'll be Mouse now pushing onto this tier 2 turret.
Wow, you know, we actually saw the gold in about 1,500 favor for Mouse, but Qlash closed the gap when they actually, the last team fights here. But Mouse is just keeping the pressure on so much, and there goes this other turret.
The turret goes down, and Leon's going to chase Mercedes into the base. That last fade-away auto-attack from him will kill off Mercedes, and now they're just going to have to jump on Agony. Disowned has come back as well. Respawned. It's a 2-on-2. Agony popping that flask for even more HP. The trespass was good, and Leon ends up going down. Just Man got stunned up as well, and now using that sigil for a little bit of distance. A Torment will bring him back, but a passageway will lead him to safety. Should be able to back off underneath his turret for the time being, but they're not quite done with him just yet. Or they will be now as he gets another speed up from a sigil.
Oh, it's too bad he wasn't able to pull the Torment back and get Just Man repositioned there, because that would have been so great if Agony picked up that kill. He's just going to have to settle with the jungle instead, which is still pretty good net gain for them. Even though they are not in the lead with gold, there's still a 300 difference, 200 difference. But they're taking every advantage that they can right now. We do see War Treads picked up by both the captains, so that is going to allow for some engage and disengage potential. Breaking Point is online for Mercedes too, so if he's able to stay alive in these fights, he could potentially dish out a lot of damage. I'm the Doom just got himself an Eve of Harvest, so he's going to have some better energy regeneration and sustain for himself, especially when he's going up against Agony, who's been targeting him so much and bursting him down.
Well, the burst is going to have to be real. That Kraken ain't going down too quickly, although Leon is making short work of it. I take the statement completely back. Leon is going to make short work of it. If they can find that Oblivion as well, that's going to be good. They're going to be able to secure it as well. That's going to be a War Tread spot from Disown. They're still marching forward. Mouse moving on to the fight. They already take out the Churnwalker, but wait for it will silence them all up. Valkyrie comes down as well. It's going to stun up Leon, but the Fountain's there for Mouse to keep them healthy enough to fight for now. Those resonance bounces are starting to stack up, and Mercedes and Agony, they're going to have to go on the run here. That Kraken is still marching down. They can't quite interrupt the back of Agony, which would have been fairly important, but they settle for a Crystal Sentry instead.
It's a really difficult thing now. Disowned is in a sticky situation as this Turnwalkers because he wants to get into the fight. He has to be the front line, and he has to extend himself further into the enemy team too, to reposition, to misposition them, to get those trespasses off. Stun up 2 members. He did that really effectively in the last team fight, but he went down later on. And now we're on this choke point turret. The Kraken is so healthy, Jaws.
It's so healthy, and that choke point turret's going to go down. Now it's up to Leon and the Doom to be able to make and keep this fight going. They have got the range advantage like we've been mentioning, but Qlash are going to make sure Mouse don't have a word in. They're going to be able to take that Kraken as well. So they only sacrifice one of those turrets, but being the choke point turret, that gives another avenue here for Mouse to just end the game when they want to. The game right now is in their court. Well, the ball is in their court. The game isn't in their court. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. The ball is in their court. It's up to Qlash now to find that crucial engage with the double CC layering of Disowned and Agony, just chaining the CC together to finally lock down Leon.
We have infusions picked up across Qlash right now, and they're actually coming in. They really want to get a fight. We only have no turrets down, actually. Sorry. And here we go.
Well, they're going to go for the big engage. Trespass comes out. It's going to get blocked. Leon just on the sidelines, just dealing so much damage. There's going to be a pullback on the Lyra, but they could finally rooted and just soloed out Leon. He was on the wrong side of the fight the entire time, and I'm the Doom just was not able to help him out. They finally kill off Just Man as well, and Qlash, they find themselves on a winning side of a team fight, but they need to be able to take something off there. That tier 1 turret's fairly low. Valkyrie's going to find I'm the Doom. They want to try and find this ace, but Mercedes is taking a lot of damage. They find the root, they find the kill, and they find their first turret.
I was just saying in the last team fight when it broke out that all the turrets were still up for Mousesports, but now Qlash, because the death timers are so high, they're able to really effectively push, especially with these empowered minions here, and just rotate down, take whatever they need, which is going to be this Crystal Sentry here. It looks like they're actually going to ignore it and perhaps go towards the Kraken to see if it's respawned yet. Looks like she's still not up, but yeah. Qlash seems to have found a bit of a second win now, and they actually have the gold lead in their favor by about 1,500 gold. Doesn't mean that much here 18 minutes into the game. We do see a War Treads picked up by Mercedes. They definitely want to keep engaging or disengaging effectively, and he needs to get a little bit tankier, so that's going to help him with his base health as well. Kraken is up on the board. We need to see a lot of vision prioritized, and whoever wins this next team fight, Jaws, is going to be really pushing into the other one's base, and if it's Mouse, they could potentially take the game here and go 1-up in the series.
Especially with the build that Leon's got as well. Remember, 4 damaging items. They're actually going to chase after Mercedes, who pops the boots on his own. Well, Oblivion's going to get popped, but now Agony's on the front line as well. We need that fortified HP. Disowned's going to come in. The Valkyrie goes a little bit wide. The Trespass was good, though, only setting up Just Man. And now Mercedes going huge, taking a massive chunk out of Leon, but the sustain factor was there. Just Man puts down the sigil, heals up Leon to almost full, and that is Qlash losing 2 members on what was a critical moment in the game. Leon is just chewing through these turrets. I'm the Doom's going to finish it off. He's going to be able to finish this next one off as well, but Disowned providing quite a bit of trouble for them. Doom goes low, but that will be Mouse taking the first win in this best of 3.
Mousesports say to themselves, Kraken? What Kraken? We don't need her here. We're just going to go ahead and take these 2 crystal turrets by ourselves. And really well done by them. Just playing for win conditions, being very, very effective with just focusing down Mercedes, repositioning Leon on this pedal when he was going so low, got him to the other side of the fight, and they were able to take down 2 of the carries. And they just ignored the Churnwalker when they marched into the base. Look at the score. It doesn't tell you that much, 7-7 right now, but Mousesports was just really aggressive that entire game. Well done by them.
Yeah, they were so dominant in those fights as well, and that Mercedes pick off at the end there just forced him completely out. Agony tried